If you started the year with a list of goals and now you feel like you're barely scratching the surface, this video is for you. Welcome back to Evolving with Amy, a place for growth, self-discovery, and becoming the best version of yourself. I want to start off by saying that life happens. It's okay for July to hit and all of a sudden look back at the past 6 months and be like, where did the time go? Life happens, energy shifts, priorities change, and that's okay. This reset isn't about shaming yourself for what you didn't do the past 6 months, but about aligning yourself with the rest of the year. Many times we wait until we get a new year, until we get a new month, until the week starts again to get a fresh start. But you don't need a year, a week, a month to start over. You need a moment of honesty with yourself and fresh decision. So let today be that day for you. The first thing I want you to do is to reflect and not spiral. What do I mean by that? Give yourself a gentle audit. Maybe set aside some quiet time with yourself without judgment. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What's currently giving me energy? What's draining me or holding me back? And what's missing that I truly need right now? Try to avoid the should spiral, which means that I should have done this or I should be doing this. And rather reflecting on what you need right now in this moment. Not what you're going to need in the next 6 months, but right now in this moment where your mind, your heart, and your soul is at. You can use a notebook for this. You can use a voice note. Maybe that helps you get your thoughts out of your head and into clarity, and that's okay. I believe in rough drafts, and I believe in just jotting down anything and everything that comes to mind, because a lot of the times our mind is all over the place from so many things that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis and from everything that we're consuming that we don't always know where we're at. So take this time to check in with yourself, take this time to journal, and to really just write down where you are right now. Number 2, I want you to revisit or rewrite your goals. You can be a completely new person in 6 months. So update your goals to match the person that you are now and not the person you were back in January. When you're someone who's actively looking into bettering yourself, you really change in a matter of months without even realizing it sometimes. So take this time to ask yourself, which goals still excite me? Which ones maybe feel forced or outdated or I'm not really interested in anymore? Shift from outcome-based goals, and this looks like I need to lose 10 pounds in 3 months, to feeling-based goals. I want to feel energized and strong. Set maybe 2 to 3 priorities for the next 90 days or even 6 months and focus on those 2 to 3 things. When we make our list way too long, we have too many things at once to focus on, and then we end up not doing any of them. Your goal categories can look something along the lines of health. This means mental, emotional, even physical health, maybe finances. You want to save $500. You want to pay off a credit card. For those of you guys that love being creative, maybe you want to start writing again. Maybe you want to take a class. Maybe you want to learn a new skill. Or maybe you want to get into a new hobby. Relationships is also a big one. Maybe you want to spend some intentional time with a loved one. Maybe you want to start dating. Maybe you want to rekindle a friendship. And then you also have home or lifestyle categories, which look like decluttering a room, starting to cook more than eat out. There are so many to choose from, and a lot of the times we want to do everything at once. Remember to focus on 2 to 3 for the next 3 to 6 months, and that's going to help you so much more than doing everything at once. Growth is allowed to look different halfway through the year, and so are your goals. So change them according to where you are today. Number 3, and it's one of the categories I mentioned, is decluttering your space. A clean space means clean energy, and this is in every sense of the word. Not just physically, but spiritually, and even the content that we consume. Now, you can start small. Choose a space that you've been avoiding, like the bathroom, the closet, those spaces that a lot of people don't really get to see when they visit your home. Maybe it's your car, or maybe it's that drawer in the kitchen as soon as you get into your house that you just have with a bunch of stuff that shouldn't really be there. And it's just like, I'll get to it at some point, and you still haven't gotten to it. Maybe get to that one first. And don't aim for perfection. Start small. And as you start small, you're going to start to get some momentum. It's going to start to free up space in your house, but it's also going to start to free up space in your soul. You're going to feel lighter and you're going to want to continue. When you feel that, go ahead and continue. Go into your kitchen and throw away expired things. Even your skincare. Donate what you don't use and rearrange your flow. Remember that when we declutter, we allow new things and new energy to come in. And it doesn't mean that it's trash that now you're giving to someone else. It just means that that no longer serves you, but it can serve somebody else. Now, if you're somebody that becomes overwhelmed when you're cleaning, especially cleaning those rooms that you don't really want to get into, use the 20-10 method. And you may ask yourself, like, Amy, what are you talking about? What is the 20-10 method? You clean for 20 minutes and then you take a 10-minute break. Now, I must say this because a lot of the times we think we're going to take a 10-minute break and then we go on TikTok or we go on social media and we're just now scrolling forever. And those 10 minutes turned into 2 hours. I mentioned decluttering your space physically, but also digitally is important. Nowadays, we have so much information right at the tip of our fingers, and we really were not created to consume as much information as we're being thrown. When you're constantly keeping up with everybody else's lives and with everything else that it's going on in the world, that you forget to take care of yourself, you can lose your sanity on the way. And I say that because we start to desensitize ourselves from all of the bad news that we keep hearing. And instead of holding a little more space for empathy, we start to think that, well, this is just happening all the time, every single day, and it doesn't affect me, so I'm okay. So when you're taking your 10-minute break, make sure you're not going onto social media and just scrolling onto whatever bad news are happening today in the world. Because yes, unfortunately, if you're looking for that, that's exactly what you're gonna find. I went on a solo ramen date today, and as I was sitting there eating my ramen, there were 2 gentlemen to the side of me talking about different things. And then I heard one say, they say to watch the news to be informed, but then they also say not to watch the news because then you'll be misinformed. And I thought that was actually really funny because it's true. A lot of the times we're thrown information to keep us afraid of what may happen to us or to the people that we love. And when we live in fear, we freeze. A lot of us don't know what to do. And that's a survival response. And it's okay sometimes when we feel triggered by those things. However, there are times when you need to take a break. There are times when you need to declutter your mind and you need to declutter your space to be able to know how to move forward in whatever situation you're at. So something that you can use to reset in the physical form, for example, is to buy yourself some fresh flowers, maybe a new candle, lighting up a candle if you have some already, and maybe even a new playlist. Try to listen to music that encourages you to be happy instead of being sad. Sometimes a reset isn't about what you add, but what you remove, because clarity lives in a space like that. Clarity cannot come if your mind is all fogged up. And it's not until you take the time to turn off your phone or take the time to declutter the space that you're in or the opinions of others when you can actually sit with yourself and figure out where you are in this moment and what your capacity is at an emotional level, at a physical level, and in every single way. Number 4 is to audit your digital life. We need to clean up our inputs to be able to clean up our thoughts. This is when you unfollow, you mute, you block, or you unsubscribe from accounts that feel draining and not inspiring. When I see someone trying to take advantage of somebody else's downfall and creating content around that, it tells me everything I need to know for where that person's heart is. And it's not to judge them, but that's not content I want to consume. Because what a lot of these people are doing is they're trying to get a whole group of people to then come and hate and come and wish death on others and come and destroy families and come and destroy people's lives just to get an ego boost for themselves. And even if I don't agree with what somebody else is doing or the choices that they're making, I still never have to be unkind to another person because I also don't know them in real life. We forget that a lot of the times the people that we're seeing online are only showing us what they want us to see. Now, by auditing your digital life, it also means deleting old text and maybe photos that no longer resonate with the life that you're in right now. Maybe you're no longer dating that person that you were dating, and that's okay. Even though it hurts, and even though this is where you at right now, looking at those conversations and at those photos isn't going to bring that person back in this moment. And matter of fact, even if your wish is to be back with this person again, you want to be able to create new memories with them and not live from the old memories and how things ended up. So organize your camera roll, your email inbox, or maybe even your app layout on the phone so that things look different. Sometimes we change where the apps are and automatically we open up our phone and we know exactly where to go without even looking at the screen. Rewire your brain. Move your apps around so that you physically have to look at your screen and be like, oh wait, this is where that app was before. It's somewhere else now. Now I have to look for it. Even moving them from your home screen, like now that we can add text messages or emails or social media and we can see notifications coming in and out all the time, try switching that for a few days and see how you feel. Your digital world is part of your mental health and you need to protect your peace even online. Now, one of the things that I did about 3 years ago and I still continue to do is have all of my notifications off. And when I say all, I mean all of my social media apps, the notifications, whether it's a like, a DM, a comment, a follow, all of those notifications are off. So unless I'm going on a social media app, I do not know who answered a comment, who liked anything, or who DM'd me at all. I did that to protect my peace and I invite you to do it as well. Social media has become the norm for a lot of our lives, especially those of us who have a lot of time on our hands and just want to be entertained. Unfortunately, even though a lot of us have great intentions when it comes to social media, there's a lot of people in the world that use it for the opposite of that. So it is very important for you to protect yourself and protect your peace by not having all those notifications on. You really do not need to know every single time somebody likes something that you posted or your story or whatever it is. I think there's such a huge addiction of being liked nowadays that the moment somebody reacts to our picture, to our post, to our video, we get that instant gratification of like, oh, it was accepted. But it is the minute that you detach from being liked and from being accepted by someone else and accepting yourself that you really have peace in your heart. Because the moment you turn off any of these apps, you realize that these people really don't know you. And the people that are closest to you in real life are the ones that have your back. Now I want to take this moment as a content creator to actually thank all of you guys who have allowed me a safe and vulnerable space on my channels and on my social media to be able to be myself and show you the little bit that I do. Because even though a lot of the times there's a lot of things that may be going on in the background that you may not know about, you still hold space for compassion, grace, and kindness. And I appreciate that to the fullest. Because you also allow me space to take for myself, especially when there are heavy things going on that you may not know about. Number 5 is to reset your routines. Identify 1 or 2 small habits that would make your day-to-day better. This can look like a 5-minute stretch in the morning before you start getting everything going, while also maybe not looking at your phone at all for the first hour of your morning. Walking outside after meals, or maybe if you're in Phoenix, for example, because it's scorching hot, just taking a moment to walk around for a minute or 2 after every meal. Journaling before bed and just kind of word dumping everything that's in your heart or in your mind in that moment. That's going to help you to get much better sleep and wake up refreshed the day after. Also, one of the ones that I love is putting away your phone an hour before you go to bed. Give yourself that time to go within, to pray, to meditate, to do whatever you need to do to get a good night's rest and anchor yourself. Remember, you can start small. It's about starting small and being consistent instead of big and unsustainable. If you're building a routine that you know you cannot sustain day to day, then you know you're setting yourself for failure. Don't set yourself for failure, because every time you fail, you're going to say to yourself, you see, here I go again. I tried and I couldn't do it. So instead of trying to do 10 things at once or changing 10 things, maybe try to only do 1 or 2. You don't need a full glow up routine. You only need something that makes you feel anchored on the days that life feels really chaotic. Number 6, check in on your finances. Financial peace is going to give your nervous system peace. When our finances are all over the place, so is our nervous system. Everything is connected to each other. Because when we're not taking care of our finances, we're constantly stressed out. We don't know how rent's gonna get paid. We don't know how we're gonna fill up our gas tank. And we don't know where our next meal is going to come from sometimes. Log into your bank accounts, even if it's hard to do. Be curious about your spending. Be curious about each transaction. Review your subscriptions, your spending habits, even your bills. There are so many subscriptions that we keep paying for that we're actually not actively using. And this is where you can ask yourself, where can I adjust, save, or simplify my spending? If you're someone that's constantly spending, maybe create a money reset list. That looks like canceling one subscription, making one savings transfer, and planning a one no spend day, like just one. Just test yourself and see if you can go a whole day without spending any money. And then check in with yourself and see how that makes you feel. Money is an energy exchange. And when we're not taking care of our finances, we're also telling the universe and we're also telling God that with the little bit that you give me to steward, I don't know what to do with. So if you give me big, I'm really not going to know what to do with that. So we need to start small in order to conquer the bigger things. I know nowadays a lot of people don't use wallets, but if you do, try a wallet reset. You can organize your wallet, maybe add an affirmation card in there that talks about your finances. Remove clutter. A lot of people keep receipts in their wallets and all sorts of things that you don't need, or even cards that you don't use. Because even if it doesn't seem like a big deal, it subtly shifts how you relate to money. And if you're someone that has a lot of credit cards, for example, and you're trying to stop yourself from spending as much money, maybe leave some credit cards at home and not in your wallet so that you no longer use those. Put a pause for yourself. You definitely don't have to fix your finances in one day, but clarity is the first step towards peace. And when you look at your finances, you are going to get a lot of clarity on where your money is going. Number 7, and the last one, is to reconnect with joy and gratitude. It can be very hard, especially when we're living such chaotic lives and when we're living in survival, to even be grateful for something or find joy in the mundane. But this isn't just about resetting your habits, you're resetting your heart. Write a gratitude list and be weirdly specific. And when I say weird, like be weirdly specific. This is your list and you don't have to share it with anybody. So even if you think it's weird, baby, you're only judging yourself because none of us even know what you wrote on your list. That iced coffee that just hit right, thank you so much for this delicious coffee because it just hit all of the taste buds it needed to hit. That stranger who complimented your outfit, that stranger who spoke out for you when they didn't need to do that, that stranger that may not have said anything but shared a smile with you. The moment you laughed so hard, your stomach was hurting. How long had it been since you laughed that hard? All of those things are things to be grateful for. It's not just about our life, our breath, or, like the things that we're like, yeah, God, like, thank you for my life, or thank you for my family, or thank you for my health. Those are huge things, don't get me wrong. However, sometimes we do it out of habit and not because we truly feel the gratitude. But when you really start to be specific about the weird things that happen throughout your day, even ending your day on that note. Picture your day this way. You're starting off your day with no phone for the first hour. After that, no limits. You can do as you please. But then you're also ending your day with no phone 1 hour before going to bed. And in that 1 hour, you take it to make a gratitude list of 5 things that you're grateful for that day. That's not going to take you the whole hour. However, within that hour, you can also pray, meditate, stretch, and take the time to really sit with yourself and sit in gratitude for what did happen today. Not for what didn't happen and what could have gone better, but what did happen today. That shift is going to make you feel so much better for the day after. And with that momentum, you're going to be able to do so much more. You're going to gain more clarity. You're going to feel more peace. And you're going to be able to show up for the next half of the year in a way that you will even be surprised. Add more things into your routine that make you feel alive. It's not just about being productive. Maybe even this week or whenever it is that you're watching this, try scheduling something that brings you joy. This could be a solo date, a walk in the park, or even cooking your favorite meal. Even doing nothing and just watching Netflix if that's what you feel like doing. Whatever your favorite thing is. Give that to yourself. Because the same way you give your time and attention to others, you deserve that too. The goal isn't just to do more, the goal is to feel more alive while you're living your life. So just to conclude, remember that a reset is not a punishment. It's not about what you didn't accomplish the last 6 months and what you told yourself you would do since January. Instead, it's an invitation to sit with yourself and realign and see where you want these next 6 months to go. You really don't have to go faster. You just need to go in the direction that feels true to you, besides what anybody else thinks or wants for you. Give yourself permission to let go of the pressure, whether that's family, friends, social media, and choose the peaceful momentum instead. Happy July. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to see where life is going to take us for the next 6 months and what's going to come up for me. Because the same way that you're going to be doing this today, I am actually going to be taking the time to sit with myself and figure out what I want my next 6 months to look like. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here for a long time, welcome back. And until next Wednesday, bye.